Hey everybody, this is Way to Fail with more Scrolls action. You'll notice that we're in the Summoner replay view, but it's my name in the top corner. That's because this is a Scrolls Ladder League match between me and Waterpile that I had to play on my laptop. I've been traveling a little bit, so I don't have ideal recording circumstances. So as a result, there's going to be some games that I'm going to watch from the replay view and go over kind of a post-commentary style. I prefer live commentary when I can do it, but there's been some interesting games that I've had that, well, if it's a good game and I catch it on the replay instead of a live recording, I want to bring it to you. But Waterpile is an unranked player, but still, let's see how this goes. This is me currently being 2-0 in the ladder league, him not being ranked, and that God Hand's going to go right away. Now what I'm thinking here is to hold on to the Ranger's Bane. These are all cards that I want, which really my deck at this point is, it's really all cards that I want, and I usually have some tough sacrificing decisions. But I want to go for early aggression. But you can see there that I sacked the Unleash Inner Power because I don't look like I'm going to need it right now, but I didn't want to use the Ranger's Bane just on this little guy when I could get something later. Those Banes are useful, they're valuable, but I don't need to use them straight away. So he gets out an Infantryman as well, so right now it looks like he's playing straight up order. And I get a Crimson Bull, which is not going to do me any good. And I go ahead and Bane the infantry just because, like I said, he's a higher priority target. This guy can do a little bit of damage, or he can sacrifice himself and get rid of himself. But right now there's no reason for me to be worried, although that's right, he's going to get out one other guy. So now he has two guys, and he makes the beefiest Zealot ever. 5 damage. So there's some extra poison just for good measure. And I sack my Kinfolk Veteran, which is a tough choice to make, but I hold on to the Mangy just so I can possibly drop the Great Wolf then Mangy combo. And I decide to poison this Zealot just because where their cooldowns are located right now. I have the poisons, I might as well use them. Better to clear his board than to let these guys go and attack with impunity. So he gets out a little artillery as well, and you can see this is where maybe some people would say, why are you playing an artillery for order? It's a card that's there. It may not be super standard for what you'll see at the higher levels, but it's still a card you got to deal with. But there's my Great Wolf, and he decides to sack just to do some damage with it, even though this is not currently targeting that area, so it seems a little premature. But I currently have a Kinfolk Brave, which I want to keep, but I decide to sack anyway, and it's kind of good that I do, because the Vetter is going to be very useful. I could have actually dropped the Mangy and save the Kinfolk for next turn, but like I said, or like I've said a few times before, and I'm going to say here again, don't get caught up in holding on cards, especially early in the game. If you have something you can play, play it. If you build your deck right, there's going to be a lot of things in your deck you'll want to use. I have 2 more Kinfolk Braves I can use, but I need to get the Mangy out. And you can see right here, the Mangy is going to do enough damage to clear out everything because of relentlessness, or as I've heard some people call it, trample, because that's the Magic the Gathering term. Same idea, just a different name. But see, now I get a Fertile Soil, which is useful. I'm not going to use it though. I mean, it's a good card that's there. And there we go, another Kinfolk Brave, Brother the Wolf. Now that I've preserved and gotten this board clear, I can drop 2 more creatures. So see, not sitting there and holding on cards and not sacrificing just because I really like what's in my hand. By just ditching the one thing, I was able to get it back and then some and clear his board. So he may Frostwind me, which I say burr, and he does bonk my Kinfolk as well. So this slows me down a little bit, and I was hoping for a rally that I didn't get. And I didn't get it on the turn either, but I can play the Kinfolk and the Ragged Wolf, and I have another Bane that I can use as well. And you'll notice it's turn 8, and I'm getting a ton of stuff on the board. This is exactly what I want to do with this deck. If you noticed I have some short games recently, this is kind of why, especially when I start playing some growth order decks, which you'll get to see some of that action too because, well, everyone's playing growth order decks these days. Not everyone, but you see them very often. What it boils down to is I sack for resources just so I can have the Fertile Soil and the Kinfolk Veteran to take out the spiky unit. My deck is designed really to win by turn 10 or turn 15. I want to overwhelm the board. I can survive longer matches, but my goal is to overwhelm early and quickly. I got some really good draws here. I actually didn't need to Fertile Soil, but I do get a Crimson Bull that, while it won't be able to kill, well, yeah, it will, because I can play the Ragged Wolf there. So let's see here. I have a Crimson Bull available. Can I end the game in this turn? I don't think I have enough attacking, but I do want to take out that general. It's a high enough priority target to where I can screw him up. So everyone's just going to attack. Oh, there we go. So there's a good fertile soil. And I mean, it's not going to let me take this guy out straight away. But see, it's post-commentary. I don't always remember what I do. I'm working on it, though. But Sister the Fox for more card draw. And there's your God Hand. That's what I need for next turn. So I could have Crimson Bulled, but I elect to do something else instead. And there we go. So this general, maybe he has a speed. I don't know. But he's going to put the Spearman in front. And I don't think there's going to be too much he can do to stop me. Because right now, with the God Hand, it looks like, yeah, I'm going to have enough damage to take out all of his idols, possibly. Or if not that, I probably screwed up moving things around. I'm going to prolong this game 1 or 2 turns. So there we go. Can we get all the damage we need? If I decide to summon, maybe, but no. It looks like we're just going to opt for doing a lot of damage. That's 2 idols down. Crap, I could have ended the game there. Yeah, maybe, but if I had just not moved, if I just kept that wolf in one area, but what can you do? I guess I'm having bad manners. I don't know. But he drops as much as he can out there. And this is the other thing I like to do is growth. You'll notice that I have my units kind of spread out here. I don't just like gunning for one idol. There's some games where you need to because you just got to take down the idols like growth order decks really quickly. But here, notice I don't try and attack consecutive idols. I don't want them to be, especially as a pure order, I don't want them to be able to cluster and be able to defend 3 rows while leaving 2 totally open. That's why I try and spread out my attacks. That's why I try and spread out my idol damage. And notice, turn 12, I have a lot of good things I can do, and I pop a rally off of that fertile soil. So that is going to be GG here. And what we're going to do is let this game end, and then I'm going to just pause it and take a hop to game number 2. So like I said, Water Pile, his deck's decent. I mean, you got to consider that this is an open format tournament, not an invitational. So you're going to get players of all kinds of skill levels. And right now, his skill level is just not quite there, maybe not with the deck that he has to compete with a growth deck that can win on turn 11 or 12. So let me take a quick pause and then we will move on to game number 2. So if you notice on the chat dialogue here as we're now entering game 2 is that Waterpow's played 25 games, he's won 12. So this is kind of just a early matchup for him just to play. And that's really what Scrolls should be all about for a lot of people, especially when we're so early in beta. There's a great competitive aspect of it, but it's a good community too, and I mean, even for the replays that I'm starting to put on my channel, I don't mind having just some replays of lower ranked games. I'm not beelining and focusing just on super high ranked everything. But I do want to point out and say that I did decide to experiment with another deck here. You may remember early on that I talked about splashing a different color in there. I wanted to put in some energy, and you can see that I popped in a Potion of Resistance. That's all this deck has. I may have put some Dust Runners in there, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely happy with how this deck is done in testing, but this is one of my first attempts at trying it out in a competitive match that has stakes. But what's going to help me a lot more in this game is that I start with 2 Vetters in my hand. So if he can't deal with that, I'm going to be able to ramp up very, very quickly. So it's all about what I get in my hand. God Hand is great bait for sacrificing early on. And the Potion of Resistance, since I only have 3, I kind of feel obligated to have it in my deck, as much as I like to be able to ditch things as possible. But maybe that may be one of my weaknesses with playing energy. Or playing with energy in my growth deck, is that I feel like I have to have this card, because it's why I added the resource in. But there's the Kinfolk Brave, facing off against an Obelisk, and I get a Quake straight away. Not sure if I'm going to need that. The Crimson Bull's going to be a little more helpful. But he's sacking for resources right now, and I get 2 Crimson Bulls. I could actually play... I get all 3 of the Crimson Bulls in my deck there. I can play 2 of them right now and totally take out that Obelisk. And I get a Bane as well, so... Play 1. I can probably sack 1. I probably should sack 1. So now it's just on him. He's got a wall up. And he's going to put a skirmisher behind it. Skirmishers are great cards. Just their relentlessness really can mow through growth, especially if you put spiky units in front of him, because it's hard to reach, and that's why he quickly becomes a priority unit to attack. I move my vetter back down because I'm worried he's going to haste this guy or speed this guy and make him move. But instead he puts up waking stones. I need to learn to read. But if you look at the flavor text, maybe you can see the source of confusion, I don't know. But I put the Sister of the Fox up there. At this point, it kind of feels like I have a sacrificial dude here, but I put a potion on him just to see if he can resist taking damage. And I'd rather do idle damage than not. So, yay, I have played another resource with my growth deck now. And it's all about experimentation, especially at this stage of the game. But I'm still trying to figure out what the good balance is with this deck. So I have a Quake, which could be decent. I get another Rallying, which could also help, but I really, really, really want to deal with that general as soon as possible. And what that's probably going to mean is just trying to daisy chain and take down this wall. But with 2 Rallyings, I'll be able to pull that off. But now I just have to sort of sit and wait and see what he has in his hand. And there's another obelisk, so he's trying to protect his idols, trying to keep his units tucked behind things. But that Great Wolf, it's nice to have Great Wolves, and there's another Potion of Resistance I could actually play. So I actually tuck the Brother of the Wolf back, or excuse me, not tuck that, but okay, don't play the Brother of the Wolf, I thought I did, but I play the Great Wolf, and even though this guy has a Potion of Resistance, he's still not very beefy, but now that I have 2, pretty much I can do what I want in this lane. And I actually don't move the vetter up. Maybe I could have. Because if he were to focus this guy and give him more attack, he could possibly take out both of these units. So looking back, it probably would have been better for me to save this guy. So dual energy, very useful when you have cards that can ramp up like this, ramp up your mana. But now I have to make some choices here. Because having that second general really kind of screwed up what I was thinking of doing, because originally I was just going to try and push and punch through this whole area, but now he has 1 general out, and instead of dropping him down in this tile, for some reason he dropped him up here, leaving him a little bit exposed. But once this guy's cooldown goes down, this guy's cooldown is going to go down as well. So it's something that I need to deal with this turn. So my best laid plans are now going to change. Fortunately, especially because I have a rally, it is something that I can deal with this turn. But you see, I take my Great Wolf down there just to try and start getting this area worked on. And as much as I don't want to move this wolf, it's just too important for me to take out that other general. Because if you've played Order enough, you know if they can just start spamming all of their generals, they can be a world of pain. I don't have another rallying, but he's actually going to go ahead and move down here, and I guess he's going for my idols. But he also got some guys that he can sacrifice as well, so going for some idol damage, probably not the decision I would have made if he could have actually tried to kill my Great Wolf, but there's a fertile soil with some timely Ragged Wolves. Would have been really nice if I could have played a rally as well. I actually don't need both Ragged Wolves. But I go for the extra card draw, but I kind of realized I made a mistake there, because I could play the Ragged to take out those, let me talk English, take out those Waking Stones. And notice once again, turn 10, I have a lot of stuff out, but he has a lot of stuff out well, and if I were to get a Quake, it would probably hurt me more than it would hurt him. But there's your Blessing of Haste, and he decides to take out the Idol. He could have used the Blessing of Haste, but it wouldn't have gotten him too far with either of my units, especially when they're going to attack. But now I have options. And with the Kinfolk Brave, I can play that as well, since I'm not really going to need to rally here. And let's see here. I'm probably going to move my Great Wolf up there. Yes, I could have taken out this idol that turn. Maybe. No, probably not with just the Kinfolk. But it's more important for me to just try and take down the stuff as much as possible. Summon another Vetter to get even more mana. Put a Bear Paw down on this guy. And 2 God Hands. So you can see where this game is going. I just got really good draws this time. Waterpow did better this game. He probably should have dealt with my creatures instead of trying to go after my idols. But that's something you learn as you go on. And every deck has different strategies, and right now there's not a lot of strategies that you can play that will help against a growth player with this many creatures on the board and 2 god hands in hand. So I just decided to end it this go around, and I think this is going to be a 4 idle takedown. So overall, very well played, Waterpile. Thank you for joining the tournament, and actually now he's one of the people that's helping to run it. So if you want to know more, you can go look at the Reddit page Scrolls LL, which stands for Scrolls Ladder League. Otherwise, this is Way to Fail. It's bringing you some more action, and next time we're going to be moving into some more ranked play, and we'll be getting some live commentary. Like I said, I'll be on the road some, so I'll be doing a few other replays of me just afterwards, being able to pause and talk. But I hope you enjoyed that look at Scrolls and my at least attempt at a dual color deck. But that's all for now. I will see you all next time.